show that comes on.
Oh,
breakdown.
The breakdown.
Yeah.
You know, they're not as critical. I think they're a bit weary.
Yeah.
Because they're the only show, I think, in town.
Yeah.
So you've got to be wary of that. If you're too critical, us as New Zealanders, we're going to go, these guys are just haters. You know? So I think they have to try and hold back because I'm pretty sure there's stuff that Mills wants to say. That
I always thought when I was thinking about it, how we should present the podcast, the sports one, was if you can have the analytics to back up what you're saying, then you got no problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's what the counter ruck is.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
You know, you guys saying that, like, I know what you're saying. But at the same time, what I've noticed on those shows, like, I'm not really a fan of it or anything. But I'm a huge fan of the rugby one, of the rugby league ones.
Oh, yes.
You know, not because I love rugby league.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I love it. You know, I love rugby too. But you know, like you look at NRL 360. Yeah. So you know, like you know, like,
now that's more American style.
That's
Wow.
American
what I mean.
style.
Yeah.
That's a
That's the
Shannon
style that,
Sharp
you know,
right there. You
that's
know,
right.
and your
Exactly.
other dude. You know, like
Exactly.
because those guys aren't afraid to pipe up. You know, and say something
Because they have the stats to back what they're saying.
You know,
Yeah,
because they're
exactly,
fearless, though. They're fearless as well. They don't care about consequence, really.
Nah. But you know that's what would be good. You know, here is because when I do watch a show, you know, when I do watch these shows, you know, there is a bit of a, you know, not a scare tactic, but like, you know, they are afraid to kind of say their opinion, you know, but you know, you'll get every now and then someone will say something and then you'll be like, oh yeah, no, you know, I get what they're saying, or, you know, you don't agree with it. But for them to be the whole entire segment in that show, to be hard, you know, the whole time at each other's, you know, throats, you know, like that's, you know, and if we're going back to, you know, what you're trying to do or what you're wanting, you probably need to find someone that's wanting to go at you, you know, or but that's where, like, you know, Zaya, you know, when you said before, you know, about when I said that comment about the vaping, you know, and you said you didn't agree with it, that's exactly what we need. Do you know what I mean? Because then it gets that person thinking, or sometimes it maybe puts that person in a shell. But you know, like, we need that, you know, and but again, you get some people, like, I guess, you know, again, I'm referencing Ice here. He doesn't like that type of stuff, you know, because, you know, in terms of, you know, the way the media go about, you know, portraying these players, because all you see them as, you know, if they mess up and they get, you know, thing, but they don't see the other side sometimes, you know, and so we do have to be careful. But we need shows, man, like that, you know, because I feel like, over here, that's like, literally when that show's on TV, like, I just turn it off straight. I just go straight to another channel, you know, or I don't watch TV at all, you know. But I can sit there and watch NRL 360, the whole show.
I think that's why NRL 360 and the American sports shows are good. You know, when you were saying, like, do we talk like that on our show? And I was just thinking counter rock, but I forgot about our NRL show. The footy show, because we have our mate over in there, lives in Gold Coast. We get on, and he's like no filter.
Oh,
yeah,
bro, that's good though.
He is no filter,
bro. See, you know,
so I just forgot about that.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna have to start listening to it because I didn't know you did an NRL one, bro. You know, and so I'm gonna have to start listening to it because see, those are the things that are cool to hear. You know, is when someone's not afraid to pipe up. You know, but again, you know, like, we need shows like that here because, you know, we are too. I think you know,
because there's no balance, say.
Yeah,
you know? And the other thing, I guess the downside to that is that you can see sometimes if you watch, because I listen to Skip and Shannon all the time, and you know, sometimes Skip's just trolling. You know what I mean? And there's the danger in those kind of shows. When you go, oh man, did you notice that a lot of people are listening more to this? And it might have been because you said stuff and like that. And if you start pandering to that side, you kind of start losing the identity of your show in that. So that's the biggest fear. Like, oh, should I just say this because I know people are going to react, or am I going to say this because this is what I truly believe? You know. And I think sometimes in NRL 360, you can see Paul Kent. He's trolling sometimes because you know, because he's got that kind of grin on his face.
And he's got that smile.
And you know, when he's going there back and forth with Hooper or Buzz, I love the interaction because he's sitting Buzz, and you can see Buzz getting worked up, and I'm like, Kent, you know,
Buzz is old time.
He's old school way, you know, and he's a cranky old man, you know, and that's the awesome thing about what I like about the dynamics of that show. Is that Ben Eichen, when he was there, he's that level-headed guy. And then when Ben did mention something, like if he didn't agree with Kent, and he said it, you'd go, shucks, Ben's right.
Can say that.
He can say it because from experience. And he's putting Paul Kent in his place.
Yeah, exactly that.
I guess at the end of the day, like we were talking about, like at home here, I want to hear a version of it here.
Yeah.
Talking about our games.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And I don't want to tune on Sky TV and listen to a breakdown and listen to their way of doing it. I want to hear our own different alternative.
Yeah.
And there's none.
Yeah. Like I'm not throwing any shade at them because man, they do an awesome job.
They're the benchmark. Yeah.
Each of them, do something and they bring something to the table, which is awesome. And they're all experienced, obviously, as well. They've played professionally or they've been in that realm at least, for years, and so they understand what they're talking about, But for me, like when I look at the New Zealand shows, like it looks like it's budget. Do you know what I mean? Like without. No, seriously, it does. They look like they're on a budget, and obviously, again, it comes to money, and what they're able to afford and stuff, and TV rights, etc. But when you look at those other ones, they are just so on top of everything, regardless if they have the same amount of money or if they have more, whatever, or less, like they bring something. They just bring an energy, that like literally the viewer is so sucked in. And they don't want to miss it, and again, that's why, Skip and Shannon Sharp are just so onto it. And even the guests they get on, like, bloody hell, like one highlight one that I loved was the one with Kevin Hart. Yeah. And he's on their show and stuff, and like he just like throws shade at both of them. Like
well, when I saw it when Lil Wayne came on.
And
he was his team Skip.
Yeah.
I was like, bro.
Like where did that come from?
And it's genuine. And that's the kind of that's what I love about that show. Yeah. And because sometimes Skip says stuff that I think, I'm like, yeah, man, he's right. And I'm like, why are you thinking that? Like, I'm team, like, I'm not a shout. I think Michael Jordan's the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, I agree.
And I love the way that, because Skip, he's team Michael Jordan too. But Shannon, mate, he's team LeBron through and through, man. You'd think he was LeBron the way he was talking about it. And I just love when they go back and I see the fans interacting and going, this is how you get it. Participation. This is how you get everyone. This is how you get ears.
But see, like some of these shows, like I know a few NRL boys and they hate those shows. And they hate it because obviously they are trying to cause controversy. And so, the players may not like it, regardless, but obviously because it is, part of that environment, they are going to get judged no matter what, for me, I think those shows are more tailored to a fans than anything,
Absolutely.
Because I think the fans are ones that are paying the money.
And that's it. Exactly that. And so, for me, like I totally see where these, professional players, are coming from in terms of not liking these shows and, they disagree with it. They don't even want to hear about it. They want to talk about it and stuff. But when you're talking from a fan point of view, the fact that us three, fact that us three are talking about it, it shows we're fans, because we enjoy it. We love seeing it, and so it would be awesome, man, to see a show of that type, here. I'd love to run a show like that, on a scale.
The other thing about, and I know why all the leagueies would dislike a show like NRL 360.
Yeah.
When you've got Buzz and you've got that with Hooper, Hoops, and Paul Kent, when you listen to them, all of their stuff, it's 50% opinion, and 50% of it's rumors, because they're like, I've heard that he's had a falling out with the club, and that, and the players must go. You're sitting there like, and I can, you can feel like, these guys sound like they're just making, someone's just, maybe the guy that was sweeping the floor, and he rang up, hey, poor man, I heard, Sonny Bill might be coming back because he was in the, and so they bring it, and then the players like, this is rubbish, man. If you're going to report something, let it be at least close to the truth. And because if you listen to them, man, when they open up, they've always got, and we know that controversy sells. So their headlines are, Maguire on the way out, he won't last a week, that kind of stuff. And then, I watch it, and then a week later, I'm like, I'm pretty sure they said, this, and the other thing I crack up is that they never backtrack.
Yeah.
They just stay set in their.
Pretty
you know,
set in stone,
I told. Well, that's what I was told. You know, I love when I say because
Buzz all the time, mate.
Yeah, that's
what
Buzz.
I was told.
Yeah. Hey, well, my rumors, you know, I mean, my insiders, you know, and I'm like, this guy sounds like he must have asked his grandson. What's been happening down at the park?
And
mate.
it's so true. Hey. Like Buzz every week would say, "That's what I was told."
Yeah,
you know?
and see that one when him and Cooper Cronk were going at it. Remember?
Yeah. And Cooper told him off, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He goes, maybe it was hard for you, but, you know, not for me.
Yeah.
And that kind of showed, that's when I realized, flip, that dynamic, you know, it is. That's when I said, oh, there is a big gulf there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've got, when Cooper Cronk comes on, when Benji's there, when James Graham are on, you hear them, they call those guys out, you know, and that segment is what I love about that show.
Yeah. And the fact that these players will come on and actually challenge them.
Yeah, that's what
excellent.
I love.
Yeah, you know, and so they should, you know, because, you know, not only are they trying to stand up for themselves, or you know, but they got their teammates too that they have to stand up for, you know, because they get asked tricky questions, these guys, you know, and obviously, you know, they, you know, I've heard, not rumors, I've heard, what's it called? People say that you know, these professional players actually, you know, get trained to talk to social media, you know, or you know, the media, you know, especially when they get asked these tricky questions, you know, how do they respond and stuff, you know, and so for these guys to jump on, especially the Benji and James Graham one, or even when Cookie jumps on, you know, because I've seen Cookie jumps on quite a bit as well. You know, they get asked these questions, and you know, they know how to respond, man, which is awesome, you know, and that's exactly what we need, you know. And I think that's something that, you know, on the breakdown, I don't really see too much as players on. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's true.
Those kind of tricky questions too.
Yeah. So see, I don't watch it all too much. In fact, you know, I'll be lying if I said I've watched a complete episode, because I haven't, you know. But, you know, what I have noticed is there aren't too many, you know, players jumping on, especially when you look at YouTube highlights, or you know, YouTube you know, the segments of NRL 360. It shows when these players are on, or you know, what talking points were and stuff. But when you look on something like that, I don't even know if the breakdown's on YouTube, but you know, I don't see anything like that, you know, in the rugby scene.